And our final story for this week on the Rolling Stone is Marvel related. Yay, boy howdy, Marvel. If there is one institution besides Star Wars in American entertainment today that has just died, it is Marvel. When Marvel movies started coming out, I mean, me and my siblings, we loved them. Loved Iron Man. We went to the theater to see the first Captain America movie. I went to the theater to see the first two Avengers movies and Captain America, Captain America Civil War, right? Iron Man 3. I think it's one of the best superhero movies ever made. Honestly, after Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, it's probably the best superhero movie that was ever made in the 2000s, Iron Man 3. So Marvel really did some really great stuff. Good stories, good acting, good character development, etc., etc. And now, though, it has just become this schlock, really. The Marvel formula is now just that, a formula. And now, we see that it's gotten even worse. Because now, the movies are not just there to set up the next big event. Right? Now the movies are here simply to advance a political agenda. A lot of people have been worried about this for a while. They pointed to how woke and progressive the comics had become. And they kind of worried and said, oh gosh, I really hope that the movies don't become like this. And there were some people who said, don't worry, Marvel, and then later Disney, they're not going to risk killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. They know that progressives and conservatives, they know that Republicans and Democrats, people on the right and the left, they know that everyone loves they're going to stay as far away from politics as possible because they just want to give you a good time so that you will still come to see their movies. Well, my friends, those days are numbered because, according to the website Sausage Roll, Disney has tapped someone to be the screenwriter for Captain Marvel 2. Yes, one of the blandest and most horribly acted movie in the MCU, Captain Marvel, is, as we all knew it would, getting a sequel. And Disney has announced who they have tapped to write the screenplay for it. A woman by the name of Kelly Sue DeConnick. Now, the website Sausage Roll, where this story initially ran, did a list of her bona fides, her credits, okay? This is how Sausage Roll described her. She is an uber feminist, a never Trumper, pro-Iranian, an Islam activist, but most importantly, an avid comic book reader, massive nerd, and passionate geek. This wouldn't be so bad. Honestly, this wouldn't be so bad if she was if she wrote kick-ass screenplays. I mean, if she had been tried and tested in the fires of Hollywood and, she was on par with David Coep or, let's say, David Mamet, Someone who just, really, really good writers, really good screenwriters, right? Then, it's like, well, yeah, she's really, really political, but you know what? She's a professional. She might, leave her politics at home when she comes to work. And you still know that it's going to be a good story because she knows her craft. Nope! Not even close, okay? Sausage Roll continues, okay, by saying she lacks experience. What she lacks in experience, she makes up for in passion, okay? i.e., she has no experience writing screenplays. If you actually look her up on IMDb, she has 2 writing credits at this point in time. She wrote the screenplay for 1 episode of the TV show Emerald City in 2017. Also in 2017, she wrote the script for the TV movie Redliners, which also came out in 2017. A movie which coincidentally has a 4 out of 10 rating on IMDb, which is, the screenwriter is not completely responsible for whether a movie is good or bad, but they share a big part of the responsibility. They are an integral part of whether a movie is good or not. Okay? You can have the greatest script in the world, but if you have a bad cast and a bad director, it's still going to be terrible. Contrary-wise, you can have the best director in the world and the best cast, but if that script, if that story is junk and garbage, well, if all you're given to work with is garbage, the only thing that you're going to be able to produce and give to the public is more garbage. Okay? So there is that. Now, one of the big things that Marvel is really touting, okay? Because remember, she has no she has no experience writing screenplays, but I mean she's uber feminist, anti-Trump, pro-Iranian, and is an Islamic activist, okay? And she's also a massive geek. She's passionate about comic books, and she actually, honestly, has written some comic books. She wrote the relaunch for Captain Marvel back in 2011. And she also wrote a book called Bitch Planet, okay? Which is, uber feminist, right? Are you woman enough? I saw one of the covers, actually, of it. Are you woman enough to survive Bitch Planet? So, I mean, just really, really great, okay? But that's the really classy, actually, by the way. But that's the angle that Marvel is trying to take. No, she doesn't have any experience. She doesn't know how to really write screenplays, but, she knows comic books. She loves comic books, and she knows them. I love comic books, too, to a point. That doesn't mean that I could write a comic book movie, especially what is supposed to be a huge blockbuster in the biggest franchise that the world has right now. Especially when you look at it again, you look at the comic books she has written, and they're not successes either. They're not financial successes. Back in 2015, Vanity Fair actually did a piece, okay, about Kelly Sue DeConnick after she had written the relaunch of Captain Marvel. And this is what Vanity Fair said, okay? Sales of Captain Marvel are solid but slow compared to DC and Marvel's biggest titles. Around 20,000 compared to Amazing Spider-Man's 100,000 copies. But Carol's, Captain Marvel's, fans are fiercely loyal. You've got 20,000 monthly readers in the comic market. That's not much. But 19,000 of them have tattoos of the main character on her arm. So, the comic books that she has written have not been successful. The screenplays that she has written have not really been successful. Okay? Doesn't matter if she's a huge nerd and passionate about comic books or not. She is not good at this. She hasn't done it for long enough, and what she has written has not really been successful. By her own admittance. By people's own admittance. Yeah, the comic books she has written were not really successful. So they try to get around that by just saying, oh, but the people who liked it really, really, really liked it. Well, you know what? There are people who really, really like the Disney movie, The Black Cauldron, which is atrocious. You look at any sort of comic book, movie, TV show, no matter how bad it is, and you're going to find people who think that it's the next best thing to sliced bread. That doesn't prove anything. What this all proves, what this all boils down to, gang, is that stories don't matter anymore. And even again, here, nothing matters except the enlightenment of the woke. If you are enlightened, quote unquote, if you have the right opinions about everything, like Kelly Sue DeConnick, right? Let's go through it again. Uber feminist, anti-Trump, pro-Iranian, Islamic activist, right? If you fill out the ideological checklist, you are good to go. Meritocracy, thrown out the window. It doesn't matter if you've never written a screenplay. It doesn't matter if the comic books you've written have been complete crap. It doesn't matter. Again, too, it doesn't matter. Your lack of experience doesn't matter. Your lack of professionalism doesn't matter, okay? Because this woman has a real chip on her shoulder, too. If I can just make that known. So in that same Vanity Fair interview from 2015, she said, "I hate when I get asked what it's like to be a woman in comics." Imagining her sarcastic response, she says, "Well, I sit around typing with my vagina, but that gets uncomfortable after a while. The notion that somehow women are wildly different infuriates me. F those people." But then she turns right around and says, "Being a woman in a male-dominated industry sort of sucks, but it doesn't suck any more than being a woman in the world." Okay? So this woman has a huge chip on her shoulder. She is not a good writer. She has not proven herself in the fires of the art of movies, screenplay, writing, etc. All she has is her ideological credentials, which I have listed several times already. And in a world, in a culture that is, very swiftly just throwing meritocracy, hard work, perseverance, artistic ability, talent out the window, and replacing it with these ideological checkpoints, that is going to transform society in ways that we probably can't even imagine anymore. We can't even envision. Because, again, if the only thing that matters are these things, right? Then people aren't going to invest in themselves. People aren't going to develop talents that they have, because who cares if you're the next Hemingway, or the next John Huston, or the next Robert Duvall, or the next RDJ, or anything. Because if you have that ability, but you don't think the right way, quote unquote, then it's not going to get you anywhere. You're still going to be flipping hamburgers at McDonald's, right? When you're 35 years old. It's going to change society like that. Not only that, that in turn is going to create a caste system where the people who think the right way, they are going to be rewarded with the good jobs, with the opportunities, with the benefits. Everyone else who has, honest to God, differences of opinion and philosophy and politics, they are going to be set out here. No, it's going to be literally a rule of the elite, where if you basically kiss your principles, if you have any, goodbye, and go with them, go with the winning team, you will be showered. You will be taken care of. If you don't, well, that's a really nice screenplay. It's a really good novel. It's a really good idea for a TV show. Hey, you even made a pretty good movie based on the equipment and the people that you had around you. Good for you. But we're still not going to hire you. Because you see, you don't think like us. And that's just unacceptable. Because here in the big leagues, we all have to have lockthink. We all have to be ideologically pure so that we can tell the world how things are supposed to be. And a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, and since you're a pretty weak link from where we're coming from, ideologically speaking, you can basically, take that movie, take that screenplay, take that novel, and throw it in the fire for all the good that it's going to do. So, that's really what this story shows, okay? And on that bright and cheerful note, I am going to sign off for right now again, gang. Again, like I said, 3 different videos. You'll be able to see what each video is about in the title, so have a look and watch the ones that you like. I'll see you on Tuesday. Ciao!